What's going on, Chumpstains? We are finally on our own. We got our own truck and were sent out on our first route. The first day was kinda crazy, and I felt like the communication left a whole lot to be desired, but we got through it. They had asked me right out of the gate if I wanted to get some home time in, to get my affairs in order or whatever, and I had told them I did. But they dispatched me to Michigan anyway. To a little warehouse off 8 Mile Road. There's vomit on my sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. This cop watched me the entire time I was getting unloaded, which kind of made me nervous, but fuck the police. That's from coast to coast, not just here in Detroit. I also had a hard time sleeping that night at the truck stop, because it was 4th of July. But it was all good. I ended up getting routed down to Greenfield, Indiana, just a hop, skip, and a jump from my dad's house. I was able to get all the shit out of my car and get it stowed into the truck. Now I'm ready to make the road my home for real. I have no reason to go back to any place in particular, unless I happen to know someone who lives in that town. At some point later this month, GM is going to come and repossess my car, and I am unconcerned. I have liquidated all of my possessions. It's very empowering. Now we can start the nomad lifestyle. You will all be witnesses, but only if you subscribe. Well, I guess you could keep on watching without a subscription. But if we get to 50 subscribers, I can start making YouTube shorts to bring in more viewers. These photos were taken in Michigan at some random-ass rest stop on my way down to Indiana. I have to say, I like driving in the Midwest because it is flat. The mountains don't bother me, but they are kind of a pain in the ass. Honestly, it was nice to be back in Indiana one last time. Not just for me, but for you viewers as well, as this was where the channel started. The entire neighborhood was setting off fireworks, which was kinda cool, but it got old after a while. It was like living in Fallujah. I was parked out front of my dad's house and desperately needed some much-needed sleep. When I got ready to leave Indiana, that's where everything got screwed up. I committed the cardinal sin for a rookie and perhaps put my new career in jeopardy. They sent me to the drop yard where I got picked up almost a month ago, the same place I went to CDL school. I ended up dropping a trailer because I didn't do my tug test. This isn't an actual picture, just an example for those who don't know what dropping a trailer means. It ripped all of my hoses out, damaging all 3, and the connections on the trailer itself. It's literally like my 5th day of work, so maybe they will take pity on me, but it's considered an accident. I didn't plow into a minivan full of school children, but it's still an accident. I'm sure I'm going to get talked to and probably piss tested. But yeah, they absolutely could fire me. I'm not making excuses, but I have this little routine I do when I'm coupling a trailer, and I got distracted. Simple as that. The worst thing about it was there were other drivers in the lot, so I did this with an audience. I followed all the procedures though. I called my dispatch and they told me what to do. So I drove over to the Loves in Whiteland to get the truck fixed. And they're gonna send someone to pick up and repair the trailer in the drop yard. It's not like I'm going to be able to sleep. So I went into the Loves and got some cigarettes. And I'm just sitting here doom scrolling with Google queries like, can you get fired for dropping a trailer? And hoping that they don't shit-can me for this bullshit. All I can do is hope for the best. If they do fire me, at least I'm still in Indiana, and I won't have to walk far when they give me the boot off the truck. I didn't even notice that there was something hanging in front of the camera right here. I'm gonna keep it in there. No way I'm going to redo this shot after all of this work. It's been a day of fuck-ups, so we might as well keep this one in the video. The good thing to come out of this is that I can guarantee that I'll never neglect a tug test again. It's burned into my brain after this. The damage done to my glad hands and electrical line were enough to warrant them being completely replaced. So I pulled up to the repair shop as soon as they opened at 9 a.m. The company was taking its sweet time approving it, though. I sat in the repair bay for nearly 4 hours. I was scared they were going to get fed up and kick me out. I remember when I was training, we had a flat tire on a trailer, and it took them nearly 6 hours to replace it. The mechanics told me my company is notorious for that. It was all good, though. I just chilled in the sleeper, dicking around on YouTube and TikTok. I wished I could get back on the road, but if this is how I have to spend my Sunday morning, then so be it. There are worse ways to do it. I eventually stopped freaking out about dropping that trailer. I mean, the company has already invested a lot in me, and they have me under a contract, so I don't think they'll can me over a first offense. It's a big first offense, sure, but it's all a learning experience, right? So Tommy got some new hoses 4 hours and $300 later. Then it was back to the same yard where I dropped the trailer to pick up a new one. I can't even tell you how nervous I was. I did like 15 tug tests before I pulled away this time. Then it was off to just north of Fort Wayne. My nightmare weekend in Indianapolis finally came to an end. I will never forget 4th of July 2025. I watched the trailer in the rearview mirror for like 100 miles. I was scared of it falling off on the freeway. Eventually, I was able to relax, and aside from the chiding conversation with safety that I'm bound to have some time next week, I'm ready to put this whole situation behind me. Just learn from it, and goddamn never do it again. Rookie-ass bullshit. Looking at my map, I noticed that there was nowhere to park near my destination. I can't show up until 5 a.m., so I pulled into the Pilot about 40 minutes away, arriving early enough that it wasn't packed and right before a thunderstorm. So Monday was Judgment Day. I drove to the office in Fort Wayne to find out what was going to happen with me dropping that trailer. It was honestly kind of anticlimactic. I had to show a safety officer that I could couple and uncouple in 90 days probation. I seriously thought I was getting fired. I'm glad that wasn't the case. It would have sucked to have my career cut short after 5 days for a rookie-ass mistake. But now it's behind me and we're going back out to the road. So now we're bobtailing out to Ohio to pick up some boxes, putting all that nasty business behind us and moving forward. I honestly do love it out here. Ohio is totally a vibe. I spend more time on these country highways than I do the interstates, which is cool. Some of the best views I've ever seen in my life I've seen from these windows. I want to dedicate this video to those teachers that told me I'd never make a living staring out of a window. Well, who's laughing now, you dirty sheep fucker? I'm out here living my best life, while most of the teachers who told me that bullshit are probably dead. They're the same chump stains that told me that I'd have to do math problems in my head, because I wouldn't have a calculator in my pocket. Shit, bitch, I got a calculator. A camera that takes pictures and video, a flashlight, a personal computer, and access to all knowledge that we have accumulated as a species to this point in history. This entire channel was made with nothing more than a humble iPhone. Speaking of which, next week is going to be our 30th episode. What a milestone. If you've been with us since the beginning, congratulations. You're like a gold card member or something. We are off to Connecticut, or as I like to call it, Connect-I-Cut. We're gonna stop in Snowshoe, Pennsylvania for the night, as we can't make it all the way to connect iCut in one go. Even though I am on double secret 90-day probation, my feelings concerning this job have not changed a bit. This is going to be a short one, as I feel I have covered everything I need to cover during this first hectic week on our own. But tune in next week for the 30th episode, as I will surely have some hijinks planned. I don't want to ruin the surprise. So until then, you dorks stay cool and keep the shiny side up, as we say in the business. And if you dorks don't stay cool, rest assured I will give you the business. Also, don't forget to do your tug test, and I'm not talking about what you think I'm talking about. Later, dudes.